Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Today we will begin our meeting with a hearing to consider the 2021 proposed Lake County tax budget. This hearing is being held in accordance with Section 5705.30 of the Ohio Revised Code for the primary purpose of hearing endorsements and/or objections to the proposed 2021 Lake County tax budget. The public hearing will be recorded. Our clerk has the ability to do a reading, but we also, if so moved, we can waive the reading of the documents. Do we have a motion to waive the reading of the documents?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, thank you. The Lake County Budget Director is now asked to comment on the proposed tax budget. Mr. Matus, would you please come to the podium, or do you prefer to?
I can just stand here.
The recording, we might not be able to.
They won't be able to hear you.
All right, that's fine.
I guess I shouldn't have given you an option. Sure, that's my fault.
You should have gave me an option.
And Mike, I need you to have mic discipline. You got to turn the mic towards you.
I guess so.
There we go.
All right, the tax budget 2021 was prepared on the premise that commissioners would only approve expenditures up to the estimated resources for the 2021 for the general fund. What the tax budget includes is the general fund, child welfare, Board of Developmental Disabilities, Adams Board, Narcotics Agency, Crime Lab, and the Senior Citizens Levy. What the tax budget shows is a need for the property tax levies that are currently in place with that. Basically with this, it's required by the Ohio Revised Code. It can be waived, but our auditor has chosen not to do that at this time. And like I said, the general fund, what is in the tax budget is 1.0 mils. Child welfare is the 1.1 mils. Board of Developmental Disabilities, 4.9 mils. AMS Board, 1.6. Narcotics, 0.3. Crime Lab, 0.7 mils. And the Senior Citizen Levy is 0.8 mils. In regards to general fund, just summarizing that one, I think that's the most important to us right now. I estimated a 10% reduction from this year's budget based on the uncertainty of various revenue sources that would include sales tax revenue as well as investment earnings. What the board will consider adoption at the July 9th, 2020 meeting, and then this will also be forwarded on to the auditor's office, which they will then provide us rates at that time, and then later on in the year, the commissioners will adopt that as well. This will be filed in the auditor's office as of today after the public hearing. So. Okay. Any other questions, concerns, anything about the tax budget that I provided you previously?
It's pretty straightforward and consistent with everything you've been telling us all year, so thank you for your diligence.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, let's see. The board will now receive any written or verbal comments on the proposed tax budget. Audience members, and I believe that also includes our virtual members, are invited to speak at this time. And we have nobody in the audience, so I guess we'll just have to, if anybody wants to email us. Jason, have we gotten any emails on the tax budget? Okay. The board requests that each person speak only once unless adding to statement previously made. Well, okay, we can move on from that. And yes, I'm checking off all the boxes as I go. The Board of County Commissioners will consider adopting the proposed 2021 Lake County tax budget at its regular meeting of Thursday, July 9, 2020 at 10 a.m. in the Commissioners' Chambers. Additional written endorsements and/or objections may be sent to the Clerk of the Board of County Commissioners, 105 Main Street, Building A, 5th floor, Suite 513, Lake County Administration Center, Paynesville, Ohio, 44077 until 4:30 on Wednesday, July 8, 2020. And Jennifer, as a point of order, public record, it'll be available online, the tax budget, a copy of the document?
Yes.
Very
Absolutely.
good. All right, and with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Okay, we'll move right into our 24th meeting of the Board of Lake County Commissioners. Would all who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision, neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority, and may we use it in our directives for the common good and for thy honor and glory. Amen.
Amen.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Here.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. Okay, we have before us the meeting minutes from June 4, 2020 and June 11, 2020. Can we waive the reading of those and have a motion for their approval?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Okay, this brings us to our first public comment portion. Mr. Boyd, do you have any public comments?
Good morning, Commissioners. I do have two public comments received via email, both from Ellen Chamberlain, that I'll enter into the record. The first email will discussions about revising the budget be open to the public? End of public comment. The second public comment, are the commissioners sitting 6 feet apart, and why are they not wearing masks? End of public comment. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Okay, this brings us to our resolutions. Madam Clerk, resolutions?
In the Utilities Department, resolution authorizing execution of an engineering agreement with Stephen Hovansik and Associates Incorporated for Vine Street Waterline Replacement Project 430W for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an engineering agreement with Osborne Engineering for Lakeshore Boulevard Water Line Replacement Project 431W for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an engineering agreement with Environmental Design Group, LLC, for Orchard Road Waterline Replacement Project 432W for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
And Job and Family Services Department, resolution authorizing execution of service contracts between Catholic Charities Corporation and Ohio Guidestone and the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Department of Job and Family Services to provide case management services for the Comprehensive Case Management Employment Program for program year 2020.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Matt, did you want to comment on these?
Sure, Commissioner. The next three, this one and the next two resolutions are resolutions that were passed by the Lake County Workforce Development Board. These are programs that we put an RFP out to the community and Catholic Charities and Guidestone for this first resolution, and then ULA for the resolution number 5 were the vendors that were awarded these contracts. These are programs that assist persons that are eligible for cash assistance with job search and job readiness and job coaching. These are programs that we've had in place for 7 or 8 years, and hopefully that explains these resolutions.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Further discussion, gentlemen?
Nope.
None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of a service agreement between Ohio Guidestone and the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Department of Job and Family Services to provide a Works First program to eligible Ohio Works First participants.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of a service contract between United Labor Agency Incorporated and the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Department of Job and Family Services to provide staffing services at Ohio Means Jobs, Lake County, in the amount of $383,284 for program year 2020.
Move to adopt.
Second. Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution authorizing execution of an amended property management agreement with Lake Metro Parks for Arcola Creek Estuary and the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Jason?
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. Myself, along with Randy Roethlisberger, we've been working with the Metro Parks on a couple different potential projects to increase public access to Lake Erie. We've had a long-standing relationship with the Metro Parks with a lease management agreement at the end of Dock Road in northeast Madison Township. We have some utility infrastructure below ground. That's why we've held the properties for so many years. And the Metro Parks have maintained that as a natural estuary and recreational opportunities. What we in front of you today is about 1.4 acre addition of property that will enter into the lease management agreement. That will allow the parks to have more lakefront access. The details pertinent to Randy's shop, and he can add, is it gives us still all rights to access the property 24/7, 365 if we have any issues that we need to address, which was our primary concern, while balancing the ability to get the Lake County citizens a little bit more extra lakefront property to recreate on. So everything, this the resolution was brought forth to the park board last week and approved 3-0. Randy, is there anything else?
No, nothing really else to add. Like Jason said, it's not really property that we're using actively. There's utilities underneath that we have access to if we need to repair or maintain or upgrade at any time. So it just made a lot of sense to give the public access to this lakefront parcel here.
Excellent. No, I give you high praise. This is the type of stuff we like to see. It's publicly owned land and giving people access to it for enjoyment and enrichment. Well done. Thank you. Further discussion?
No.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $1,011,662.78.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $295,260.31.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to adopt.
Second. Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash and appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to adopt. Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes. Okay, this brings us to our departmental reports portion of our meeting. Utilities. Randy.
Thank you, Commissioner. About a year and a half ago or so, we had a series of meetings regarding odors out at the landfill and some public meetings, and we met with a consultant, or hired a consultant to give us some recommendations on improvements out at the landfill and the gas collection system, and we've made some significant improvements over the last year, and our odor complaints have gone down significantly out in that area. But one of the I guess larger recommendations, more significant recommendations from our consultant's report was for the utilities department to begin operating the gas collection field. We have an agreement right now with a gas collection contractor who's been doing it since about 1998, and it's really up to them to move out of that contract. It lasts as long as they want to continue to maintain that gas field. We've been in discussion with them and negotiations for about the last 6 months or so for them to relinquish that and essentially abandon the site and turn it over to us to operate. And that has going to happen on July 1st of this year. So next week, with a lot of help from Mr. Hackman and his group, we were able to negotiate an exit strategy for them. And I think going forward from July 1st, there'll be a significant improvement out there as far as maintaining that gas collection system in the well field. And we really look forward to doing that and kind of coming full circle with all the recommendations from the report from about a year and a half ago or so.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Any questions for Randy?
No.
Very good. Job and Family Services, Matt.
No report today, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. County Commissioner, Jason. County Commissioner, good heaven. County Administrator. Wow.
Hey, well.
Talk about training your replacement. Here we go.
I'm happy where I am, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Just briefly, a quick update. We had our second CARES Act Economic Development Review Committee meeting Monday. Happy to announce we had 10 more grants and 2 loans that were approved, and we're in the final stages of processing those loans and grants to our business community. We have another meeting scheduled for this coming Monday at 9 a.m. with another batch of hopeful applicants that will receive some assistance in our small business community. I did send you guys an email of a very grateful recipient of the $5,000 grant, a small trades contractor who that lifeline was exactly what he needed to keep moving. So just want to pass that along. And secondly, as just a side note, I'd like to give a quick attaboy to our buildings and grounds guys. I was in early this morning and took a walk around our facilities and just how great they look. The landscaping, the cleanliness of our kind of campus from the JFS building all the way through our courthouses. It's just really, I think we're a really good neighbor to Painesville, and they do a heck of a job and sometimes go unnoticed. So thanks.
I completely agree. Mark Iafalise and his entire team. Cleanliness both inside and out, good public perception. And I think Randy has a phrase of how can people expect our water to be clean and safe if our trucks are not clean and safe? So I'm glad to see that that's a theme that carries through the county. Anything for our administrator?
Nope.
Very good. Finance, Mr. Matus.
Thanks, Commissioner. As the commissioners are aware, we received our first sales tax number, which included some of the COVID-19 timeframe with that. In regards to that, we were down 17% compared to last year. I'm eagerly anticipating the next sales tax will be from April of this year. We'll get that around between July 10th and July 15th. We'll receive notification of what that is. Through discussion, we budgeted a 22.5% decrease. I'm sorry, 25 on this one for that month. So we'll see how good the estimates are based on the information. As you guys have recently seen, we got some information that car sales were down 20, in excess of 20% for the month. So we'll see what that is in July, and we'll move forward with the budget accordingly. Thank you.
Question.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Young.
You said we were down 17.5%. What was our projection?
Off the top of my head, I can't recall. What we did, after COVID, we reduced, Commissioner Serino and I had extensive talk, we reduced it by 5% only, so it was a little worse than what we originally thought on that month. I can get that to you. It was on a spreadsheet that I sent you guys, but I can send it to you right after.
I think we anticipated that March would be, because the shutdown didn't really start till the last week of March.
Yep.
And things were pretty strong in the first part of March. That's why we projected less of a hit.
Yep.
But apparently this hit started happening earlier than we thought.
Yep, so. Exactly. So, like I said, I'm eagerly anticipating how good our estimates were for the April numbers, which we'll receive in July.
And on that note, if I remember the numbers, the early receivables, we had been very conservative. The numbers came in better.
Correct.
This one came in worse. We're down by about 2%, I believe.
We're within 1% of our updated budget right now with the first few months and so forth with that. We were trending about 2.5%, and the last month really knocked that down to about 1%.
But the May and June actuals, when they come in, are probably going to be the worst months that we'll see.
That's what I project out. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything additional?
No,
Not
sir.
for me. No.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that the next regular commissioners meeting is going to be Thursday, July 2nd at 10 a.m. And also, county offices are going to be closed on Friday, July 3rd for observance of Independence Day.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Let's see, legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Okay, this brings us to our old business portion of our meeting. Do we have any old business to come before the board? Hearing none. New business. Do we have any new business to come before the board? Commissioner Serino.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two quick items. One is I'm delighted that we're seeing some traction on the loan and grant programs in the county. We still have additional dollars available on both programs, particularly in the loan program. So we are encouraging everyone operating a business that would fit the criteria that we've outlined on our website to make inquiries and make application for these loans and or grants. We've had some very positive feedback already from those that have already been accepted, and we think it's going to be very instrumental in making sure that some of our businesses in our county remain viable and remain as employers as well for the good of our total economy. The second thing, Mr. President, I'd like to bring up is just a lot of constituents have, made inquiries about from my personal standpoint, the reaction to some of the national things going on in our country right now. And I just want to address very briefly that, the questions that have come in is, what do you think of all of the rioting and destruction and other things going on, defacing and toppling of statues and so on? And, it's not a Lake County issue for us at this time, but since constituents have inquired about it, I do want to indicate that, we have some things going on in our country right now that they're not in the American way. Certainly the right to protest peacefully is enshrined in our Constitution, and I, for one, would never look to stop anyone from expressing themselves that way. That is our First Amendment right. However, the destruction of property, the rioting, the occupation and takeover of either public and or private property is not acceptable, and certainly would condemn that anywhere it happens for any reason. We also have an organization that many people are signing up to support. That one of the leaders recently said that we're going to burn things down if our demands are not met. That's an organization that a lot of people and a lot of corporations are jumping in to support. And I just want to make it clear that, do your diligence before you decide to support an organization and really find out what their strategies are and what their tactics are, and do they really comport with your personal ways of protesting. I firmly support a reevaluation of some police methodologies. Certainly, you can always do better. But I certainly firmly stand behind law enforcement at all levels. And as is already being demonstrated in some of these cities, where they've experienced just a total lack of leadership on the part of mayors and governors, that it is leading to violence and mayhem in some of these newly taken over areas of cities. And that's what you get when rioting is given credence. And we're just delighted that people in Lake County and the state of Ohio don't view things that way. I was in Columbus earlier this week and had a chance to see the boarded up broken windows at the state capitol. It's a pathetic sign to see. And people, I hope, will be prosecuted for that. Again, go to Columbus and march and demonstrate peacefully any way you want, anytime you want. But the wanton destruction of public property is not acceptable. And that's the answer I will give to all of my constituents who make inquiries. Thank you, Mr. President.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Young?
Thank you, Mr. President. I fully support what Commissioner Serino, in fact, I support every phrase, every word that he just uttered, and I'm glad that he had the courage to say that. And I think in our society today, that courage is it's an attribute that I find shocking is lacking in so many parts of our country. People literally terrified to stand up and do what they know is right. Just because someone feels so emotionally drawn to burning down a statue or knocking over a building or breaking a window, and just because they feel it so intensely in their heart, and perhaps they have some sort of an argument that they could express from deep in their heart, regardless of the sincerity of that emotion, it doesn't give them the right to destroy other people's properties, other people's symbols of the history of the nation that I believe most of us love. And I just want to call upon public officials and remind myself that there are things that are not acceptable, just as Commissioner Serino said. There are things that are beyond the pale. There are things that are just plain wrong. And certainly some things have been done improperly by the police. Anytime you have a nation of 340 million people, and I don't know how many police officers, but it numbers in the millions as well, you're bound to find glaring mistakes periodically in areas that can certainly be improved. And I think we're all about that here in Lake County. And I think most parts of the country are all about that as well. But that doesn't give folks an excuse to run out on the streets and start burning whatever is closest and easiest to burn. So again, I just want to support Commissioner Serino's statement and stand firmly behind those ideals.
Thank you. Very good. Quick update, LEEDCO, the Lake Erie Energy Development Corporation, they did receive permission to construct Project Icebreaker, the 6 wind turbines off of City of Cleveland, but one of the stipulations that got slid back in was they have to have the wind turbines turned off from dusk to dawn. There has been an appeal filed with the Ohio Power Siting Board to request that be reconsidered and that they go back to the stipulated agreement, which was in place prior to the final decision. So I will keep you updated. So we're just dealing with birds and bats, so apparently that's the least of our worries these days. But with that said, any other new business, gentlemen?
No, sir.
Very good. Mr. Boyd, do we have any additional public comments that have come in via email? Very good. Indicating none. All right, we do have a request for executive session. The 2 purposes today are personnel discipline. The other is real estate land acquisition. There will be no business conducted following that executive session. Do we have a motion to adjourn into executive session?
Second?
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting is now adjourned to executive session.